and classy. In a flash, the Italian team shook off the foul and turned on the heat. Prada had speed and the fickle Gulf on their side. AmericaOne got within a boat length, but no more. Now it's Kayard and AmericaOne's turn to respond. The joyous scene late yesterday at the Prada camp as Italia 45 came back after drawing first blood in the best-of-9 Challenger finals following a most impressive wire-to-wire win against AmericaOne. Prada survived a penalty turn and a jibing duel and stunned more than a few veteran Cup observers. Results, 1-love in favor of the Italians. Tactician Torben Grail, greeted by his kids, made all the correct calls on wind shifts. So as day 2 dawned, that's the score. Cloudy and rainy skies, suspect winds vacillating between 3 and 13 knots, kind of up and down, kind of like the two skippers' views after yesterday's first race.
It's just the first race. So it's good to start this way, but it's just the first one, and we know that all the races will be tough until the end. So we just think about tomorrow.
I've been in a lot of regattas and I've been behind before, and I think that I certainly expected to lose some races in this round, and it happened that we took the first loss, and I think it's an interesting challenge because we get to show ourselves, most importantly, if we can come back tomorrow and reverse the cards.
Well, it's pretty obvious at least one Paul Kayard, the American skipper, remembers back in '92 when he sailed for the Italians, coming back from a 1-3 deficit and winning the series. Maybe his next-door neighbors should remember the same thing.
Well, Jim, I thought DeAngelis was pretty calm, but the rest of the team was ecstatic, maybe too excited after winning just one race.
What was the mood like on board? I mean, you came back in after the race on board 61.
Well, I thought the mood was pretty good for Kayard and Kostecki because they know where the mistakes are and they know how to make the difference. But the rest of the team seemed pretty quiet, so leadership is going to be a big factor.
Race 2 is coming up. As you can see, the conditions are kind of light and fluky out there. Does that, to your eye, favor either team?
Well, both boats are good in light air, but it's going to be a tactician's race trying to weed these complicated winds.
So when we come right back, Paul Kayard and AmericaOne down 0-1, 5 out of 9 to challenge the Kiwis against DeAngelis and Prada.
What creates professional-grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations, plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
What will communications be when it finally grows up? Satellite? Broadband? Wireless? Fiber optic? With technologies from Agilent, communications can grow up to be whatever it wants to be. Let's see what this baby can do.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will feel better about my dad living by himself.
I will know my children are safe.
I will go on vacation and finally be able to relax.
ADT's advanced technology and skilled professionals help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
I will live my life.
My life.
My life.
On my terms!
Call now and get the ADT burglary system from $99 installed, plus up to 20% off homeowner's insurance. Get the power of ADT.
ESPN's exclusive coverage of America's Cup 2000 is being brought to you by Sam Adams. It's What's Inside. By Fiat.com. Everything a sailor needs online. By Citizen Watch Company, the official timer of the Louis Vuitton Cup. And by Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world. Looking down from our ESPN sail track outside the city of Auckland, the city of sails, to the Hauraki Gulf, where yesterday we started race number 1 in about 10 knots of breeze. It kind of varied between 8 and 13 knots, Gary. It was a Mediterranean-like day, and for day number 2, after a couple of delays and about 7.5 knots of breeze, looks like we'll get underway. We check our Agilent Technology course conditions for day 2 of the Challenger Finals.
Wind out of the southeast, wind speed very variable, 6 to 9 knots. We could have anything out here today. Not very much current, calm seas. The variability index high.
And as you check the Citizen Delta, everybody's looking for wind this day, huh?
Good place to ride at the top of the mast to see what the wind is doing. Strategist Michelle Evaldi up there on Prada.
And as we check our GMC crew list for A1.
John Kostecki, tactician, Olympic silver medalist in 1988, is skippering in the next Volvo Ocean race in 2001. Sailed in the America's Cup in 1995.
Morgan Larson will go up the mast out of the University of Hawaii, 28 years of age, father, sailmaker, and in the Olympic trials.
And one of 4 grinders, Phil Trinter, played football at Indiana University and is from Lorain, Ohio. He's 29 years old and sailed with Dennis Conner back in 1995 as an alternate.
Working in the pit for A1, the veteran Josh Belsky, a name you knew from Stars and Stripes back in 95 out of St. Lawrence University, 32 years of age from Rye, New York. That boat has to win 5 of the next 8 races. Prada up 1 race to none. And speaking of Italia 45, we check our GMC crew list.
Skipper and helmsman Francesco De Angelis is 40 years old. He's got 2 kids. He's won the J24 World Championship, and he won the Admirals Cup in Great Britain back in 1995.
Working the main on board Italy 45, Piero Romeo, 33 years of age, born in Germany, racing fins and soling class as well.
Among the grinders, Massimo Galli sailed in the America's Cup trials back in '87 on Italia and in Il Moro in 1992. He sailed in 2 Admirals Cup campaigns and races solings.
Down in the pit, Christian Grigio, 29 years of age, racing in the Maxi circuit as well, grew up in the Merit Cup and in the Whitbread.
And up on the bow, Massey Serenas, 29 years old. He races J24s and 12 meters. How's that for a mix?
Not overconfident, but they certainly got a tough one out of the way yesterday. Looking over their shoulder as Kayard tried to pull it out. Seconds till they enter the arena. What was it like as you looked into the eyes of John Kostecki and some of the guys on board A61 yesterday?
Well, first of all, they had high hopes that they'd actually win the race. They kept pushing hard and they came very close, so there was a lot of determination. They had a crew meeting right after they finished. They discussed why they made some mistakes. They understood it, and they're really anxious to get out here and get going in this race. And a lot of the pressure rests right on Kostecki's shoulders because he's the tactician and he's the guy that's got to call these wins, which will be tough to read out here today. stay, the boats alternate sides. Prada coming in from the top of the screen with the right of way on starboard. AmericaOne at the bottom of the screen on port must stay clear.
I believe so. You think it's probably worth it, right? They got their guy up as well. Looks like a little more pressure to left. This is short term here. You know?
John Kostecki talking about which side of the course they're going to like after the start. That'll dictate their strategy.
No foul here. No foul.
A different tactic by Kayard as he makes a jibe maneuver and keeps it close heading downwind.
Keep looking up the track. Let's get this first shift, okay? Come on. Come back to zero, Lex. Come back to zero.
Jim noticed both boats have a man up the mast looking for wind up the course. Matteo Plazzi, the navigator's on Prada, and Morgan Larson handles that duties for AmericaOne. You can see him up about 100 feet off the water.
Head to head, all square, 3-3 after Prada's impressive victory by 24 seconds yesterday. The closest race, that great downwind run, separated by only 8 seconds, where Kayard actually came from behind on the final leg to beat out Prada. Of course, one of the victories head-to-head was when Prada's mast snapped, and it was virtually a walkover for the boat from the St. Francis Yacht Club.
Okay. You like the left, right? Still like to start left. It's not anything super strong. No? No. So it's best start, but right now I'd like to start left. Hold.
Both boats about 1 minute and 10 seconds sailing time away from the starting line.
Right. How much time back? How much time to the pin? Here you go. What do you want to do? Probably got to lead. What do you want to do? I think we need to lead here.
John Kostecki calls for a jibe to lead Prada back to the line. Now keep in mind, both boats need to kill about 50 seconds of time before the start.
Go. Hold. Fast. We almost want him here. We got a big lefty. We want to start on port here. And let him go left. See the pin? Big lefty here. We're in 100.
The left wind shift would make the port tack favored.
I don't mind getting hooked and starting right now, because we're in such a big lefty.
Yesterday, 63 seconds from the start, Italy smacked the backside, and they were forced to make that penalty turn later in the race.
He's trying to stay back. Come on. Not Yes. Come on. Go. Okay. Relax. Turn.
Both boats 20 seconds early for the line. They need to kill speed.
We're early here. Hold. Go for speed. Trim. Hold. We'll see around the board here. Yep. Right side. Looks a little bit lighter to the right. Hold, Morgan.
Is he letting the pit? Yes, he is.
I could have gone that. It'd be slow. We have a lot of pace on here. 19, 18, 17. Ready for 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gun. He's staying on the pin.
Clean start for both boats. Prada having difficulty getting up and around the leeward mark. They're pitching to do it, sailing a high course.
Yeah, look at 49. They're up in a big lefty. Damn it. Yeah. It's like, you know, there's pressure coming down here. It's going to be a little bit right with some pressure. We're going to have to take that across because it looks like there's some left. Yeah.
I like the light touch on the wheel by Francesco De Angelis.
Yeah.
There's the difference as you check on sail track. Rather conservative start, I think, Gary, by both skippers today in the very, very light breeze.
The whole deal here was to try and accelerate up the speed. Kayard was on his course early and really got the momentum going and is surging out. The big question now is, where is the new wind going to come from? To the left ahead of Prada, or from the right ahead of AmericaOne? And that's what both men up the mast are trying to figure out. Morgan Larson holding on for dear life up there as the boat tacks. So John Kostecki also likes the left side of the course and tacks over. If nothing else, a good move just to stay as close as possible to Prada.
Okay, up by the shitter, I see a big line.
Prada, for its part, tacks back into the middle.
And unless the breeze picks up, it's going to be like this most of the day. Huh?
Well, I think both boats learned yesterday when they split for 5 minutes that a big wind shift could dictate what happens in the race. So I think this time both tacticians are going to say, no matter what happens, let's just stay close to the other boat. And that's what we're seeing here. Yeah. Both boats tacking back into the center, whether you're ahead or behind by a minute.
I need ley lines up here, Lex. I don't have ley lines. Just tell me what they are. Tell me what they are. Okay. Come on, Hart. Come on. Right now. Yeah.
This is the view that Morgan Larson has from the top of the mast. That's how far he feels above the deck.
That's because of speed. Yeah. Twist it here. A little main on, please. Just going to slightly down pressure. What are you doing, my man? We've got left pressure. What's that?
Now with the boats even, Prada seems to be gaining with more wind on the left. But
what do we want to do, John? I think we want the right here.
AmericaOne's in starboard. They can force the other boat to the left, and that's what they're trying to decide. Should we go right and tack underneath them, or cross them and keep going to the left? Big decision right now.
He wants the right, huh? Go main. Come on, turn.
Kostecki likes the right side, as does Prada.
Did they go too early?
Actually, Jim, I think they were a little bit early, but as you can see, they're just getting their speed up, and they're going to force Prada away. It's going to be very hard for the Italian boat to stay in that position much longer.
And there they go.
Now, in these very light wind conditions, first, your sailing angles are very wide, about 90 degrees, and secondly, it takes a long time to accelerate up to full speed, over a minute in winds of under 7 knots. Blue line, AmericaOne, working the right side of the course, protecting the right where they see a little bit more breeze, forcing Prada to the left. Neither boat will make another maneuver until they're up to full speed.
As you look at Italy there, Rod Davis is a veteran of 7 America's Cups with 4 different countries. He's the coach of the Italians, and after yesterday's victory, he said, well, maybe 35 to 40% speed, 60% smarts. Day 2, they lead 1 race to none.
Thinking about hair loss? Now there are more options available to men experiencing hair loss than ever before. Millions of men have already started using them, so what are you waiting for? Call 1-888-MERC35 to learn more about an FDA-approved hair loss treatment and about a special money-saving offer. Or call your doctor to discuss which treatment is best for you. The sooner you make an appointment to see your doctor, the better. Call 1-888-MERC35 to find out more about a clinically proven hair loss treatment and about a special money-saving offer. Stop just thinking about it. Call today. Merck, helping make hair loss history.
We were driven to bring back the cup, and we had the support of the people back home. But we were not back home.
Must follow. We're headed for the rocks. It's the sirens. Cover your ears, sailor. Good.
So beautiful, so dangerous. Much like the ships we'd have to beat in the cup races ahead.
Gary with sail track and a nice puff by Prado.
Well, Yellow Line Prado on the left side of the course seems to be going faster all the time as they go upwind. Prado sailing closer to the wind and gaining all the time. They get about a 2-boat length lead, and Prado comes across and tacks directly on top of AmericaOne. Now the difference there is not so much which side of the course they were on. It was simply boat speed once they got going, and Prado seemed to have a distinct advantage. It's got to be a big psychological boost.
I'd like the pressure left.
To Prado.
Big time. Better pressure right up there.
Vuoi venire appena su, Francesco? Ragazzi, un muco,
Torben Grail on the right, working with Francesco De Angelis. Here's Francesco right here. Maybe the most important guys on the boats are right up here at the top of the mast.
I think we better dig out here.
You heard Kayard say, I think we better dig out.
Yes.
Dig out means tack over and stay with the other boat, even though they're ahead and they're getting more wind on the left. Let's not get too far out here. There's Morgan Larson is actually tacking himself. And Jim, I like the way he hides behind the mast. The reason is to cut down on windage because he actually slows the boat down.
Real soft right now.
I asked Morgan Larson yesterday after the race, when do you come down? And he said about 12 to 13 knots. It's diminishing returns. Too much windage, too much weight aloft. But in this light stuff of 6 knots, it seems to work well.
Pressure's up.
Just there, you see a difference in course between the two boats. And that's wind strength. Suddenly AmericaOne getting a little bit more breeze. Prado says, hey, we're going to stay with the other boat. We can't let this happen while we've got our lead. So they come right back across.
Stand out for 20. He's in a big lift pressure out there. We got some kind of pressure from here.
Yeah.
Stand out for 15. He's got one on any time.
Cazzo bene. A camminare un po'. No, no rende. Okay.
Big time wind shift to the left. Prado is extending their lead with more wind.
But I think it's better go underneath here. Because probably near lane here. Want to go here? Yeah.
Now this looks like a strange tactic, maneuvering and tacking to leeward and behind Prado, but the fact is they're almost sailing a direct course for the windward mark, so better to minimize the loss. That's Kostecki's call.
line, please.
Veteran grinder Jim Nicklaus there right in the center of your screen with the sunglasses on.
Moose McClintock. Right here, Jim, is the sail trimmer. And now upwind, he handles both sides of the boat, a technique developed by the Kiwi, Simon Dowdney, trims on both sides. Moose is a veteran, 45 years old, loves sailing with this man, Paul Kayard. And the Italians, for their part, Lorenzo Mazzi and Stefano Rizzi are two-tailers, and they trim on either side going upwind. So both boats on the left side of the course now, almost sailing directly for the windward mark. More wind filling on the left, so Torben Grail and his man up the mast. Matteo Plazzi getting it right, and that's why they have the lead. Plus, to my eye, it looked like the Prada boat was simply sailing faster when both boats were in the same wind strength.
Kayard at the wheel said, we knew that Prada was tough, and we knew that we would lose some races. Some of the races would be of the heartbreaking variety. It would be how we react, how we come back the next day and deal with it.
Well, so far, even though they're behind, they seem relaxed.
First American to win the Whitbread around the world race. A lot of folks laughed when the inshore skipper formed the Whitbread, but it was Paul Kayard who enjoyed the last lap. He won it.
I spent 40 years building a nest egg, 30 years paying off a mortgage, 20 years saving for college. I'm done worrying. Now I want to live.
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable solutions to help you grow, manage, and protect the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
Great timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries. But only one of these is smart enough to run forever on any kind of light. Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
To see inside the human heart, the doctor once needed a scalpel. But with ultrasound systems from Agilent Technologies, doctors can now spot problems that once went undetected. And sometimes even fix them without surgery. To see inside the human heart is to sometimes see relief.
Great timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries. But only one of these is smart enough to run forever on any kind of light. Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
It's the first Grand Slam of the century. And it's only on ESPN. The world's best are back, up close, down under. The Australian Open. Coverage continues tonight at 1 on ESPN2.
Love the athletes and stars here to celebrate. Hotel rooms are covered, the mini bar. Greatest time sports, gonna be a heck of a time.
Celebrate the greatest athletes of the decade, live from the MGM Grand, February 14th at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Welcome back to the Challenger Finals race number 2, story of leg 1.
Jim, as we head upwind, halfway up toward the windward mark now, Prada yellow line on the left, got a little bit more breeze, sailing a little faster, and enjoys a substantial lead over AmericaOne as they head almost directly for the mark, a 9.3 length difference to Prada.
A 24-second victory yesterday for the Italians. Very emotional situation when they got back into the Italian camp. Of course, a lot of the fellas in the Italian boat right now were here sailing over 2 years ago when Paul Kayard was sailing in the Whitbread race. It was Paul Kayard, an all-round buoys sailor, who had the last laugh when he won the Whitbread. And until this week, well, we never knew how much Paul's America's Cup campaign depended on that win.
I basically had to win the Whitbread in order to have an America's Cup program. I don't think I would have gotten the role that I got going on with the sponsorship without proving to the corporate world right then and there that I was capable of taking on a challenge and organizing a team and succeeding in a somewhat unknown environment for me around the world racing. And so the timing of that was just perfect for me to be able to go into HP and Ford and SAIC at the time and say, hey, after this is over, you know, I'm tackling the America's Cup, and I really think we have a good shot at bringing it back to America. And, you know, I'd go off down to Brazil and go on another leg and win another leg, and they would follow me and read about it, and it was just key. So, first of all, that's what the Whitbread did for me. Secondly, as a person, it was the single best sporting event I've ever participated in. And I know for a lot of the viewers it may be hard to understand that because the America's Cup is always touted as the pinnacle of the sport. And I think from a prestige standpoint and a complexity standpoint, it still is. Certainly from a technical standpoint, it is. But for the pure sailor and the pure sportsman, it's very hard to compare racing your guts out in the middle of the Southern Ocean, 2,000 miles from any kind of land in 45 to 50 knots of wind, pushing the boat hard day and night in water temperature that's basically like a glass of ice water. So on a personal level, it was the most satisfying sporting experience of my life.
The first American skipper to ever win the Whitbread.
Unless the thing really whips around.
Did a good job. Didn't like the way he did in leg 2 in the Southern Ocean, but came back and satisfied himself on leg 5 that we can do it when they won that leg, and that propelled them to victory. Jim, as we look at the boats going upwind, Prada almost in a position. Their backwind is heading in this direction just behind AmericaOne. But they're going to be sailing a course lower. You can see them bear off right there away from the wind to try and block AmericaOne's wind and gain extra distance. This wind continues to shift all around as they sail upwind. You can see the ley line. Now that's the direct course to the mark. On the right, that straight line, and it's shifting in toward the boats. At this point, it's over. Now, if the ley line shifts any more to the left like it's doing, that will help AmericaOne because the extra distance sailed by Prada will be lost. But right now, Prada is sailing low and going right over the bow of the boats, and this wind is heading right at AmericaOne right there and slowing them down. The difference in speed, maybe 3/10 of a knot, and that's a lot.
They're going to have to let us know. 10-second shot.
Breeze starting to build a little bit out here.
Gavin, are we getting swept out back or what?
Gavin Brady with the laser gun taking a reading to see if they're gaining or losing compared to the other boat.
The mark rounding leg 1, race 2, Prada and AmericaOne when we come back.
Daddy.
Yes, sweetie?
Can the monsters get me?
Not a chance.
When you've got ADT, you've got the power of advanced home monitoring technology.
Good morning, this is Diane.
The power of experienced professionals helping to keep you safe.
Okay, calling the fire department right now.
From burglary, fire, flooding, carbon monoxide, even the occasional monster. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
And thank you for choosing ADT.
ADT helps protect more homes and families than any other security company in America. Call now and get the ADT burglary system installed from $99, plus up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. Sleep tight. Get the power of ADT.
I spent 40 years building a nest egg. 30 years paying off a mortgage. 20 years saving for college. I'm done worrying. Now, I want to live.
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable solutions to help you grow, manage, and protect the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Devils Red Wings, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN2.
Wind's going to be left.
Prada leads 1-0 after yesterday's 24-second win over that boat from the St. Francis Yacht Club in San Francisco. And I think Cair's going to have a tough time, Gary, making the mark.
Prada's done a good job sailing directly on their win, and AmericaOne says we can't take it anymore, and they tack away, deciding to make their 2 extra tacks for the mark early, so they're not sitting in Prada's exhaust any longer. You can see the wind shifting back and forth. Our direct line, AmericaOne needs to get out to that to make the mark. It's called the lay line.
Of course, the weather here in the Gulf, the Hauraki Gulf, can be a great equalizer. Prada's skipper Francesco D'Angelo says he'd like a little bit more time, maybe even a few more years before he's got to make those pressure calls on the first shift.
It's a very challenging place. You never have experience enough, and especially because all the races come down to who gets the first shift. So you just have to call one path, right?
I think a tremendous job, Gary Jobson, by Torben Grail, the Brazilian-born tactician, and the weather team for Prada, led by Hamish Wilcox.
Well, keep in mind that their destiny was not in their hands because AmericaOne was ahead on the first cross and could have kept going on starboard to get to the left shift, because Stecchi saw more wind on the right and forced Italy over to the left, and when the Italians got there, the wind filled in from the left, so 2 days in a row. But what this tells me, when you see this happening consistently, maybe it's not so much the wind, but your boat's going faster. Prada's going fast. They're sailing away from them.
What are the Kiwis learning after a race and a leg?
Well, I think they're learning that the Prada boat is very fast in light wind and that AmericaOne is vulnerable. They're also learning that neither team seems to get rattled when things go badly. The foul yesterday on the start for Prada and the setback for AmericaOne. But having said that, this race is a long way for over. Let's not forget that KR came within 15 feet of being right alongside Prada, just several hundred yards from the finish yesterday. And things can happen downwind very quickly. In fact, I would say that everybody on both of these boats have been in races where they've been well behind and found a way to win. And with this wind expected to get lighter, one boat falls in the hole and the other one will catch up and go right around. Prada giving himself an extra bit of room to round the mark and get a clean spinnaker set. Virtually no current on that buoy.
Stai tranquillo sulla boa, così vai una lunghezza sopra, sono 6 lunghezze, 5.
Those 2 extra tacks by AmericaOne cost them dearly, as did sailing in their bad wind for a long period of time. It's Paolo Pisani, the bowman. Now they're going to come around the mark, Jim, bear away, jibe, and then set the spinnaker. And the reason is the starboard jibe is heavily favored heading down for the leeward mark. Down below in the sewer, Prada.
Nice look down from the helicopter. This is the beamier of the 2 boats built by the Italian syndicate, Prada. All right, some folks question in light air how this boat might do. This was the boat really that dominated round robins 1 and 2 when you were here.
And it was very heavy wind with that beamier boat. But here it is lightweight. Look how wide the turn is here, but a good set. Spinnaker right up as they make the turn. And almost heading directly for the leeward mark now. the race committee electing not to make an alteration in the course on the second leg.
Looking at 6, 8 lanes. Up, you know, the bands aren't going to pop. That's what the jive said.
AmericaOne deciding whether they should do a jive set and follow or do a bear away and split to the other side of the course.
Set right with Bob, stay, don't even worry about the pole.
So AmericaOne follows suit and goes for a jibe set 2, an indication that that starboard jibe is a much closer course.
149 at the top mark.
Get this off. Tim's got to come down. Right here.
A lot of bobble out here. There was a series of storms that passed through. In fact, I've never heard such hard rain as we had here last night. But that created a lot of big waves. The wind is very light now, so it's hard to work these boats through the bottle, through the bobble. Plus, I think the spectator fleet up at the winter mark causes that too.
There's water everywhere here in New Zealand. Lakes, rivers, streams, early morning in the backcountry. The mist rises from the surface. It's a somewhat magical, mystical time.
I have a boss. I have a mother-in-law. I also have a teenage daughter. I don't need someone else telling me what to do. I need someone who will listen.
You tell us your goals, your situation, and your concerns. We'll provide clear, understandable solutions to help you manage your finances. Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world.
What creates professional-grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations, plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
Welcome to the World Wide Web. And what a tangled web we weave. With so much traffic, the superhighway can become a parking lot. So Agilent Technologies makes systems and components that help turn internet gridlock into open road. It's a driver's dream.
Save up to 70% off list on slightly damaged goods. Only at Guitar Center. Condition may vary.
Back with our sail track, Gary, the story of day 2.
Well, sail track doesn't lie and tells us exactly what's happening. And notice the wind direction on the left. 115 as the boats work upwind. Now, at one point, Italy is behind, but they get forced to the left. They like the left side of the course. The breeze fills in, and the wind starts shifting that way. AmericaOne has to tack and be downwind and follow. Prada does an excellent job getting on top of their wind, forcing AmericaOne to make 2 extra tacks, and the wind keeps shifting to the left. In all, it shifted 40 degrees on that windward leg, and the Italians seem to call it right every single time.
Are they that good? Are they calling it right every time after time, or are they catching some luck too?
Well, I think it's a function of having a faster boat, getting to that new breeze faster. But so far, I would say that Torben Grail is winning the battle of the tacticians over John Kostecki. He's the guy calling it right.
Worried about is if we're going to fetch forward the whole way, he's going to be gassing. Yeah. So I'm more worried about. I wonder if I could just try to stay left zone.
I see the breeze like it's not up there, you know.
Okay. Yeah, right now I'd agree, and I'd sail down on your carrier.
Yeah, I think I'd sail out of it. Or he'll get past my guy.
Once you start getting light, Paul, like right here, feels like we're starting to get light, and you just might want to start doing that.
Very difficult steering downwind in these waves and chop and trying to keep your momentum up.
Ran into his stuff.
AmericaOne being affected by the boat ahead.
There's another pop up there just before.
Nice ease.
They're doing a nice job sailing the boat. Look at Josh Belsky there sitting on the side. Shoulders kind of slumped, not liking their position at
it's like a lifting
time.
Here. It's going to be nice for us again. Getting low is probably better. Am I in it? I don't feel it's windy yet. It's just because it's a big lift. There's a little pressure here, you know. 8 knots, 9 knots. Be surprised maybe they jive.
You can see the boat sailing almost direct course and an 8-boat length lead. AmericaOne's actually going a little faster. That's something we saw yesterday on the downward leg.
Well, they also pulled Morgan Larson down off the mast. It was interesting when you came in with them yesterday. I mean, he actually said there's a range where you don't want to be up there because you're guessing about the wind, but you also, the weight up there can affect the rigging, and you can actually slow the boat down.
And in this chop, Jim, the boats are bouncing back and forth. Remember, he's a lever arm over 100 feet up, and that's slowing the boat down. So I think a good call getting him down. Plus, they're heading for the mark, so they don't need to read the wind now. They just need to go fast. Nobody aboard Prada looking back at the other boat.
Tangone è tutto giù, di sicuro? Quello che può, raga, è molto lungo di là questa merda.
I go on board with our Lincoln Financial Group yacht camp.
Vedi se si può tirare anche un pelo di drizza. Molto leggerino.
Interesting, they use a blinder, Romano Ranieri, aboard Prada to read the wind. Somebody in the middle of the boat with his eyes looking to windward. Over in AmericaOne, Gavin Brady, the strategist, does that job. Now look at this. Both boats sailing very different courses right now. AmericaOne sailing a lower course. The reason they have more wind. So a big opportunity to catch up in these fickle breezes. AmericaOne sailing a closer course to the mark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we better think about driving.
Care thinking about jiving.
Well, he'd like to get Prada to start maneuvering and get him back in the center of the course.
Just want to be ready to jive when we have to jive. He's driving. Height's definitely too big right now.
Downwind, these boats will jive through about 100 degrees. That's a very wide angle.
He sat on the bobstay, and I never saw him go to the pole.
The sailing downwind, you can see the boats are actually sailing a higher and higher course away from the leeward mark. That's an indication that the wind is shifting back to the right. Had that happened early in the first leg, AmericaOne would not be in this position. But 8 boat lengths sounds like a lot, but it's a lot closer than they were before. Up, Morgan Larson going back up the mast again. Looks like Spider-Man, Jim, going up the mast.
Out of the University of Hawaii.
Usually sails a 49er, an Olympic class boat, and he's going all the way up. The higher you go, the further you can see. Plus you can see over top of that spinnaker, the leeward, see if anything's down there. The reason for looking down there is to call for a jibe to go off in the other course. And it looks like he's straightening out some halyards, and he'll bring one down. Notice all the guys in AmericaOne sitting on the leeward side of the boat to try and tilt it over, get those sails to fill a little bit easier.
The best.
Kayard said he certainly expected to lose some races this round. It's whether they come back the next day and reverse the cards. Right now the deck is stacked against them.
Yeah.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with both legs.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. Join host Max Kellerman and Brian Kenny each week as they bring you the most exciting live fights of today. Friday Night Fights, every Friday night on ESPN2.
Winter X Games, February 4th through 8th on ESPN and ESPN2.
Gary Jobson, all our ESPN America's Cup sailing team for this 2000 regatta invite you to join us. Mark down those times now. Race number 3 will be Friday morning at 2 a.m. That's 11 o'clock p.m. Thursday night on the West Coast at the St. Francis Yacht Club. Race number 4 Saturday, 12:30 a.m. Saturday morning, 9:30 prime time on the West Coast Friday night. Race number 5 Sunday morning at midnight, 9 o'clock, again prime time. So 3 more great races here from the Hauraki Gulf. Let's go back to yesterday, day 1, Louis Vuitton finals. For Prada's Francesco De Angelis, a pre-start penalty in race 1, a skipper's nightmare.
Prada protests, but they're flagged for not giving AmericaOne room to keep clear.
AmericaOne gets the right side, but Prada finds more wind on the left.
The boat switched sides on the second upwind leg, and again, Prada gets more wind.
Using a 9-length lead, Prada makes a perfect penalty turn at the top mark.
Piano, 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 piano. Vai, Vitton.
AmericaOne comes back. The final leg sets up as a replay of the last frantic battle between these two teams.
At one point, Prada's lead is cut to just half a length.
The jibing duel is a flawless ballet by both crews.
In desperation, AmericaOne jives away, but Prada doesn't take the bait.
A significant opening day win for Prada.
That was was yesterday. This is today. There's the Delta at the top mark, a minute 49. And we have been joined by the voice of yachting in this nation of 3.5 million proud Kiwis, Peter Montgomery. PJ, to your eye, what have we learned here on day 2?
That sailing on the Hauraki Gulf is very, very difficult, and even the biggest names in world sailing can be humbled. We heard AmericaOne say they wanted the left, and on that first beat to windward, they decided to tack underneath Prada, and that seems to have been a bad mistake, because they would have been better off to let the Italians go out to the right. They didn't, and then the Italians went from bow to maybe 1 boat length to all of a sudden be in Fat City, 10 boat lengths in front.
PJ,
it is very, very streaky pressure out here, very streaky.
You've seen the same onboard shots that Gary and I have seen. You're not seeing any panic aboard the boat we're looking at right now, USA 61, but you are seeing some rather shocked faces, don't you think?
Well, I think we're looking at very seasoned sailors here, and they have been behind before. And there's no point in diving on your sword, but they would be frustrated sailors rather than necessarily shocked. And this area in the Hauraki Gulf is really an intellectual test of tacticians, the afterguards, and the sailors. I should emphasize that here in my home waters, the prevailing winds are southwest or northeast. Now, that is for 90% of the time, and today the breeze has been from the east or just south of east, originally at 120 degrees. Now it's coming from 75. It is an absolute nightmare, even for locals in Auckland sailing when the breeze comes from this direction, just south of east. And it can break hearts and break reputations, and that's what it's doing today for the crew on board AmericaOne. But let's emphasize, in these very, very tricky conditions, streaky pressure that we've got, it's now to 75 degrees and just 7 knots. Anything can happen. AmericaOne behind, but in these conditions, they are definitely not out.
Well, Peter, we saw in round robin 2, Prada well ahead of Stars and Stripes and almost stopped dead in the water, a squall come through. From your vantage point, do you see any little weather cells or patterns on the horizon that might be coming across the course?
There's nothing quite as dramatic as that. Actually, as I look out to the east, the sky is clearing. But what the most difficult thing, Gary, is just the streaky pressure. And so you can be 100 meters apart, just the difference that those two boats are now, and it is quite possible that there could be more pressure or even, believe it or not, a knot or two difference. The most important thing in this part of the world, in small islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and the Tasman Sea, the weather can be just so variable. It's not like a big continent in the United States or Australia or Europe where the weather is so much more settled. That is why this is a nightmare and a real test.
Kind of what Paul Kayard was saying last night at the press conference, that New Zealand's so tiny the weather pattern can actually blow right over New Zealand as if the islands weren't even here. The America's Cup has always been about super yachts for both racing and observing, so it's certainly no surprise that a fleet of mega yachts from around the world are moored at the Viaduct Basin, now known as America's Cup Basin.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will feel better about my dad living by himself.
I will know my children are safe.
I will go on vacation and finally be able to relax.
ADT's advanced technology and skilled professionals help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
I will live my life.
My life.
My life.
On my terms!
Call now and get the ADT burglary system from $99 installed, plus up to 20% off homeowner's insurance. Get the power of ADT.
I have a boss. I have a mother-in-law. I also have a teenage daughter. I don't need someone else telling me what to do. I need someone who will listen.
You tell us your goals, your situation, and your concerns. We'll provide clear, understandable solutions to help you manage your finances. Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world.
Saturday, get ready for the film event of the year. The NFL Film Super Bowl Marathon. ESPN Classic proudly presents 2 days of the films that keep your butt planted on the couch. Starring Broadway Joe, The Snake, and the return of the Fun Bunch. The NFL Film Super Bowl Marathon, Saturday at noon, only on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today. NFL Films, definitely old school.
Back with Gary Jobson and our ESPN Sail Track.
Very shifty winds out here. Streaky yellow line product continues to lead. Both boats jibed at the windward mark. One jibe as they head down to the leeward mark. And Prada seems to have the better of it, stretching out to a 15-boat length lead as they close in on the leeward mark.
149 was the delta. First time they went to weather. First run downwind as they approached the bottom mark.
Both boats sailing with asymmetrical spinnakers. Looking at the size of them, it looks to me like AmericaOne has a bigger sail than Prada. Now, yesterday they had one the same size in the first leg. They didn't like its performance. They went to a smaller sail, which just seemed to work better in this lighter breeze. So I would expect on a second downwind leg, you'll see a smaller spinnaker set by AmericaOne.
How much do you think's in the water?
It'd be great if the camera boat would take a left 90-degree turn.
Voice of Moose McClintock.
Yeah. Right. Main on, please. Yes. Yeah.
Greg Prussia there looking at the other boat, holding on to the side stays. He usually works the foredeck once the race gets going.
Okay.
Curtis Blewett's up there for the start.
Have a good look out of here. I think we can go here.
Well, you heard Peter Montgomery talking about the fluky conditions here in the Hauraki Gulf. Team New Zealand sailors have been around this Gulf all their lives, but Russell Coots for the Team New Zealand says that breaking in a new boat can be a bit of an equalizer.
They're tough conditions. I think the challengers are finding just how tough it is to sail in New Zealand conditions, and I think it's fair to say that we're finding the same thing, actually. Even though we've sailed in those conditions for 3 years in the old boats, the new boats, obviously you try and improve the things, particularly build the boat lighter, and even now that we're racing the boat seriously, it brings a new dimension to it, and you know, we've had our fair share of problems too.
Speaking of problems,
well, we got a little wrap on Prada. They went through a jibe, kind of a nice easy jibe, and the spinnaker just wrapped itself inside itself. It was like the apparent wind chased the boat around, so they've pulled the jib up to try and get that to work.
Pretty similar deal here, guys. It's looking like all left.
This is slowing them down about a knot, so they just take the spinnaker down. Not the kind of incident you want to have when you have a big lead. They aren't getting the jib in, the spinnaker's not working. Well, they just figured out a way to pull it out, and they got it down, but that's going to cost them a little bit of time and distance. Looking at the boats, it almost looks to me like Prada went a little too far before making the jibe. Both boats still have somebody up the mast, and the reason they're up there right now is they're looking up the course What's going to happen 100 yards from the mark, 300 yards from the mark, a mile from the mark? We need to know which way is going to be favored.
Come back, got to get some right.
All you've got to do, Gary, is check one of the 3 New Zealand weather stations the Kiwis have out there in the Gulf.
They're constantly monitoring what the wind is doing and feeding it into a computer to see if it equates with what they predicted earlier.
Of course, I was talking tongue-in-cheek, but pointing out that the Kiwis do have those weather stations as they're out training. There is no Defender series.
Well, there's no Defender series, but you can't take any of that information on board the boat after the 5-minute gun. So that's stuff that they'll analyze after the day and see what they predicted would happen. But during the race, they're on their own, and that's why the guys are up the mast trying to figure out what the wind's going to do. I hear Vince Cook's race committee giving us sounds at the leeward mark that they've changed the angle of the windward mark.
Non più fine, Francesco, carica un po' di più. Fermi un attimo adesso, fermi. Più di quella, carica un filo.
A lot of chatter aboard Prada today.
3, 2, 1, drop it.
Billy Bates down below in the sewer aboard AmericaOne.
Go on, Jim, go on. Spectator fleet's in the lane. Spectator fleet's in the way.
John Kostecki complaining about the spectator fleet being in their way.
There were a couple of boats yesterday in the first race that caused KR some problems that were part of the spectator fleet.
There was a huge 150-foot sailboat that almost got right down on his breeze and slowed him down. Because that's part of the America's Cup. There's a lot of fans out here watching, and they get involved. And it's never fun for the boat behind. It always seems like the spectator fleet's tougher when you're behind than when you're ahead. Paul Caird looking for a puff of wind, an acceleration of wind strength to tack and maneuver in.
Yeah.
Bruce McClintock trimming the jib.
Yeah.
You can see all the crazy waves behind the boats now as they go right from the mark. And all those spectator boats maneuvering around, chop up the water, and they're trying to get away from it before they start doing maneuvers.
So as you look at part of the spectator fleet, leg 2 into the record books on day 2 of the Louis Vuitton Challenger Finals. It's 5 out of 9. Prada's up 1 race to none. It comes down to the speed of Italy 45 against the will of Paul Caird.
"40 years ago, we started this business. 10 years ago, our sons wanted to help. Last year, our daughter decided to join. Our whole family is in the business. How do we make sure the business stays in our family?
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable business succession planning to help you preserve the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
I just hope it's healthy. I hope their plane lands safely. I don't want to go to the hospital anymore.
I wish I could get my email out. I wish my network had more bandwidth.
I hope we get 1 million hits.
I wish they had a cure.
I wish I could have done more. I wish I had more time.
Agilent Technologies. Dreams made real.
This year, I will get in touch with my inner athlete.
This year, there won't be more of me to love.
This year, I will make heads turn.
Start the millennium right. Join Valley Total Fitness now for no money to start. This is your last chance to get last year's rates. Call 1-800-WORKOUT. Get the equipment, the trainers, the classes for no money to start.
This year, I will take several thousand steps in the right direction.
Call Valley Total Fitness today.
There's no I in team, but there's definitely a you.
Hoops Malone, brought to you by College Hoops, is new this fall on ESPN.
Looking upwind on sail track, Prada ended up tacking to the right side. Kayard came around the leeward mark, kept going straight, and now has gotten the left side of the course. You'll recall, Jim, that on the left it seemed to work pretty well on the first leg, and that's where AmericaOne is, and the lead has been cut dramatically. AmericaOne only 1.5, 2 boat lengths behind as we go upwind. And looking at the two boats, you can see that Prada at the top of the screen is struggling in these very light winds. So as the wind has gotten lighter and lighter, AmericaOne seems to be accelerating and doing better.
Well, there also was a point where Prada failed to cover. How come?
Well, they were ahead. They stretched out to the right, and you would think they'd make a covering tack and come right back to stay between them and the mark. But the mistake by Prada was letting AmericaOne get their bow out. John Kostecki, that little microphone is a headset.
Weird pop coming to us here. Yeah.
The headset is attached to the top of the mast so Morgan Larson can talk to him. Under the rules, you're not allowed to use a radio mic. It has to be attached by wire.
The last 15 seconds and very light on the water.
So we should take this pup. You think so?
55 wind during here.
Okay, we're almost even, John. If we're going to rope around his bow here, I feel like. I don't know that.
Max pressure, you got 30.
Or he likes to right from here on out now. Count it correctly, Jim. Sure we're not getting up here. If we get slammed in the face, we can pull right across? Yes, if we get slammed in the face, but I don't see that happening. Right here, slam in the face, 50 feet. What are we even for?
We even for, say, 47. You're building the...
Gavin Brady on the right, John Kostecki on the left. Billy Bates down below, packing the spinnaker for the next set.
We're in a top situation here, too.
Keep working it, man.
Nice picture down below there, Billy.
And another 30 seconds to... Where up, Josh?
Her name is Violet.
Yes.
Or so we're told.
She's done her job.
Billy was born in San Diego.
I think if you get headed,
not Violet.
Is a resident of San Diego. Actually sailed for the Australians in 3 America's Cups.
7.5, 8 knots in the water.
I think we can make it here. Okay, here we go.
Kostecki calls for the tack. Kayard quickly agrees. Hey, we're back in this thing. Let's go right at him right now while we have the shot. And Prada tacks to leeward. Now, I think it's a good move by Prada. They see the wind has shifted. Let's keep it close themselves. This was the tactic AmericaOne did last time to stay close, and now Prada's done it. But AmericaOne now in the lead. What a quick turnaround here on the Hauraki Gulf.
Behind by 1:49 after the first beat to weather. Behind by 64 seconds after the first downwind leg.
And now a 3 boat length lead, and better yet for AmericaOne on the left, they're above the lay line, so they're heading for the mark. Now the scary thing for them is the wind continues to shift. Prada will sail out from underneath them. But when we got up to the windward mark last time, the wind went back to the left again. So they've got to sail fast, but still keep heading for the mark. If the wind shifts to the left, it helps Prada. If it goes to the right, it helps AmericaOne a little bit, as long as they make the mark. You can see the hands on the hips of Torben Gray. I'll tell you, anytime you see a tactician with his hands on his hips, that's always a sign of disappointment.
Here's a little pop.
This lead is going to get closer and closer as they focus in on that windward mark. Prada's got his nose out to leeward and ahead. Then looking from that advantage, but she does and has clear air. Carter Perrin, the downwind trimmer, kind of liking what he's seeing right now. 26 years old from the University of Texas.
Trying to go fast.
If anything, keep it slightly over trimmed, though. Yeah.
John Kostecki telling Moose McClintock to keep the sailing tight because they're pressing against it, sailing a low course. Morgan Larson getting a halyard set up for the spinnaker set.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of sailing, Jim, is being behind and passing somebody that was well ahead of you. It really gives your crew a psychological lift. Both boats overstanding the windward mark. It's a foot race to get there.
Trim up for a sec. We just can't get up. Trim up.
Morgan Larson coming down the mast, a good call. They don't need him up there anymore. They know exactly where they're heading, at the mark. As you look at sail track, you can see they're on the lay line. The wind is shifted to the left. AmericaOne getting to the left, and that was a mistake, a tactical mistake by Prada, letting him get there. Both boats heading almost directly at the mark. Prada's nose a little bit ahead, but AmericaOne a length and a half ahead. I expect by the time they get there, the boats will be about even. The competition. Can AmericaOne drive over the top and capture Prada's air? Can Prada work out and put their back wind? Both boats are fighting.
Okay. Trim on up just a touch.
Looks like we're going to get some building pressure here.
I kind of think we made a mistake. Maybe we should have kept the left more, you know? More pressure out here. Come on up.
More pressure means more wind, and it's filling from the windward side. Advantage AmericaOne.
Okay, here's the puff.
Made all the right calls yesterday, Torben Grail did. But now has seen a 1:49 lead evaporate.
What creates professional grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
Sam Adams. It's what's inside.
Like most sailors, you'll eventually find yourself in a situation where you start asking some questions. Should you have chosen a larger furling system, or does that winch have enough power? Get the answers at Fiat.com, the online source for hardware, rigging, sales, and marine electronics. Find out about it. Order online or by phone and get it quickly. Fiat.com, because you may have a few questions out here.
40 years ago, we started this business. 10 years ago, our sons wanted to help. Last year, our daughter decided to join. Our whole family is in the business. How do we make sure the business stays in our family?
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable business succession planning to help you preserve the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
It's day number 2 of the Louis Vuitton Cup Finals. AmericaOne from the St. Francis Yacht Club, Prada from Italy. Italy had a 1:49 lead, first beat to weather, but a great comeback by the boat from San Francisco.
Prada failed to cover on the second windward leg, and AmericaOne reclaimed the lead, but they tacked out on the lay line for the windward mark, and the wind has continued to shift to the left. Prada had her nose out. You can see them reaching back now toward that windward mark, and Prada being to leeward ahead is now stretching out into about a boat length and a half lead. But the good news for AmericaOne is they are not out of it. It's not 15 boat lengths anymore, and they're still very much in this race, and they seem to go faster when sailing with the wind. So Kostecki and Kayard have to be cool and keep hanging in there.
Look at this.
Both boats sailing with the sheets, the lines holding the sails in, eased out, and going fast. AmericaOne's in a tough spot because they're getting a little exhaust from the sails and sailing in the chop of the boat ahead, which slows them down. Interesting that Prada still has a man aloft. Michele Ivaldi is the man up there right now.
Runner, 2 round in the back for speed. I think probably. Okay.
When you've been competing at this high level against someone for years, compliments come hard and are treasured. So Paul Kayard has to feel pretty good when he hears these compliments from Kostecki.
I have a lot of trust in Paul. Paul's definitely one of the best helmsmen I've ever sailed with in the world, and I've been quite fortunate to have sailed with great helmsmen. So I have a lot of confidence in his ability. I think that's what makes us such a great team. It's because I don't have to worry about that part at all, and I can focus on doing my job the best I can.
They think very much alike. Kayard has selected an afterguard that is very much in sync with his own thinking and his own temperament, don't you think?
I do. I think they're both very relaxed and calm and precise, and Kayard knows what good questions to ask and challenge everybody, and he gets different pieces of information from each crew member. As we head for the mark, both boats reaching here. Tough position for AmericaOne being to windward and behind now. And I see this Prada boat, when the boats are reaching, going just a little bit faster than AmericaOne. The difference at the mark will probably be about 2 boat lengths, but certainly enough to catch up. We've seen that happen before, particularly in the semifinals.
Right now, the drive set is long.
John Kostecki talking about which course to sail downwind, bearaway set or a jibe.
And once they round this weather mark, when you go downwind, the boat behind has the edge.
They can block the wind to the leader, Jim, or they can dictate when they're going to make their jibe. And the other boat has to follow. It sometimes has to maneuver in a lighter piece of wind and lose some distance. That's what we saw yesterday.
And on today's first run in these conditions, USA 61 picked up 45 seconds.
So they got to be encouraged. We're not out of it. We're behind right now, but we're back in this game.
I see him now.
Billy Bates looking around there. He's the man that works down in the sewer, enjoying the fresh air up on deck for a few moments. A nice respite.
I'll tell you what, I'm 50-50 still there.
He can or if he doesn't, we certainly don't want to, I don't think. Huh? If he doesn't, we don't want it. That's an expensive maneuver.
This side's always been king for pressure, though.
Well, what does it look like down there?
It's hard to tell. There could be some good pressure down by, you know, Rangi Toto. Other problem is the spectators on our ley line on the fairway.
Well, there's a shitload of people coming up this way, John.
Yeah, but we're going away from these guys. We're going to go down that way. We're going to be sailing through spectators for a fairway. I think we have to jibe set, unfortunately.
It's historic in America's Cup. that when you're behind, you're going to complain about the spectators. It's kind of like being the away team in an NFL stadium. It's the crowd that's bothering you. You never really hear the boat ahead complaining about the spectators.
I think if there weren't spectators, I'd probably do it their way.
Excellent point. There he's talking about the spectator. I mean, when you're behind, you're trying to eke out every bit of speed out of your boat, and every wave that you catch that's generated by the spectator fleet, of course, backs you up.
And there's plenty of it here. I'm not sure why the spectator fleet is so close today. Historically, or in the last few weeks, we've seen them quite a long way away, but they seem to get right down on that mark. I'm sure it'll be something that's addressed when they all meet tonight.
Tornato un po' da dietro. Tornato un po' da dietro. Accelerar bene, accelerar bene.
I like the fact that the spectator fleet's staying absolutely still. I'm sure they've gotten the word over the radio. Don't maneuver around when these boats are coming. A lot of pressure on both boats to get a good, clean spinnaker set as they go around. And with the man aloft, you're one man short in the cockpit setting these sails. Morgan Larson now back up on AmericaOne. Bold call by AmericaOne. They did not do a jibe set, a bear away set into the spectator chop, but a big rip in AmericaOne spinnaker as it goes up.
Cheat it on, and we need to go with another kite, guys. God, cheat it on.
The spinnaker will still work, but it's going to blow apart. It's in a bad spot, that rip, right in the middle of the sail.
33 wind direction.
They are not letting it bother them, but it is a huge rip. It'll slow them down, and it's not going to last long. Now, they do have another backup spinnaker on board, but it'll be a spinnaker that they don't want to use at this moment. In golf, you have different clubs for different shots, different spinnakers for different wind strength. This is a smaller sail than they had last time.
Okay. Right there. Take it easy, guys. It's going to be okay. Ease a little, Carter. Nice shift, guys. We're on a beautiful shift. We're kicking ass.
Now that's leadership.
What's he got? Dutch will be perfect wide. What's he got?
I disagree at the moment. You want to keep going this way?
If you're totally clear,
6.5 boat lengths as we are halfway through race 2.
And sailing on opposite sides of the course.
He's got a big header over there the other way, huh?
Yeah. He had a puff and he just lost.
No panic on AmericaOne as they set up the spinnaker. Greg Prussia, Curtis Blewett, Billy Bass, Josh Belsky get the new sail up.
What kite is this?
Losing some horsepower, though, with that rip in the chute.
Got one, Carter? Ease, buddy. Ease, Carter. Good lifted now.
Ease if you can, Carter.
Big lift now, unfortunately.
Yesterday, after losing by 24 seconds, Caird said the boats were pretty close, upwind, downwind. He didn't think there was much in it. He thought the shifts were bigger than the differences in speed as we check our Lincoln Financial Group deltas around the top 3 marks.
Very, very nice. What kind is this?
Once you've experienced the Sony home entertainment universe, nothing else seems to matter. But first you need to put one together, and shopping for a home system is something Sony can help you do. So just call 1-877-216-SONY, and we'll send you a free personal home entertainment planner which includes a buyer's guide, so you'll know exactly what you need to know before you shop. The planner also comes with a complete listing of all the products that make up the Sony home entertainment universe. To get started on yours, call toll-free 1-877-216-SONY, and we'll help you through the process.
For the most complete Super Bowl coverage, it's ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Radio, ESPN.com, and SuperBowl.com. All week long, we're in Atlanta with updates and insights to prepare you for the big game. Then on Super Bowl Sunday, we begin at 11 with a special edition of NFL Countdown. At 2, turn to ABC for pregame coverage with Chris Berman. And at 6:18, Super Bowl 34 kicks off on ABC.
Yet another sail change on USA 61 after the chute ripped.
Well, they put up a spinnaker that just didn't seem to be working for him, and on a jibe, a nice maneuver, they drop the spinnaker down and get a new one up and going. They're about 4 to 5 boat lengths behind Prada, and they hope this sail will make the difference. But a beautiful job switching sails in the middle of a jibe to an asymmetrical sail.
Snowed out on the East Coast the other night. They'll jump it up Thursday night on ESPN. Mark down those times. The 21st ranked Terrapins from Maryland against unranked Tar Heels of North Carolina, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock out west. Then the top ranked Bearcats against Louisville, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Thursday night doubleheader NCAA basketball on ESPN. On sail track, it was 18 seconds around that third mark.
A good race developed. AmericaOne did a barroway set. The blue line headed off to the left side of the course, while Prada ended up having a jibe set in a little cleaner time. AmericaOne struggled with a lot of spectators, but the sail change worked. John Kostecki found more wind and right back in the boat race. Now we'll have to see what happens back and forth. AmericaOne actually looks to be leading right here, but that could change depending on the wind as they come together.
That's locked up.
Mark bears 216, Paul.
Thank you.
So we're nearly there.
Yeah. So right now at the game bearing, then later we'll heat. It's a problem, okay? I think. Or do you want to heat? Are we gaining
I'd
enough
like to heat slightly.
Heat means sailing a higher course to accelerate for speed, giving away distance to the leeward mark.
Heated half a knot.
Yeah.
In other words, let's take the lead while we have the chance and go fast. So there's the difference. AmericaOne at the bottom of the screen, the green spinnaker leading by about 4 boat lengths. So the strategy of doing a barroway set, changing spinnakers, has worked. So AmericaOne's done a good job when they're behind. How does Prada react now that they're behind?
We will find out how DeAngelis, Torben Grail, and Prada, they're up 1 race to none, reacts to being behind. You stay with us.
At 25, I wanted to make vice president. At 35, I wanted to make my first million. At 45, I wanted to make enough to buy the company. Now all I want is to make it around this track 0.2 of a second faster.
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable, customized solutions to help you manage, protect, and enjoy the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, Clear solutions in a complex world.
Your phone, your water pressure, the airbags in your car, the toys your children play with. The world around you runs on chips. Agilent makes the testing equipment that makes sure those chips work. Just try to get through a day without being touched by the things we test. You might as well try to dodge raindrops.
Yappa blocks.
Interlocks.
Yappa blocks.
Stacking blocks.
Yappa blocks are like furniture.
Better.
Interlocking storage blocks.
Stack any which way. Stack them right up to the ceiling like two skyscrapers.
Snap on a Yappa closet rod.
Wow! An instant closet.
Throw your stuff into the Yappa block drawers.
Poof! Your room is spotless. Go Yappa.
Call 1-800-GO, YAFFA for your free catalog.
We want to give back to the community, and that's why a lot of us are involved in the Big Buddy program. Chance to give children something they would otherwise never see, to meet their heroes.
When I pass it to you, just give it right back. All right, now give it back. Oh! Shooting! Pass the ball! Pass the ball! Easy, man. Be a big play. Like defense! Get on him! Get on him! Get it out,
Being a Big Buddy allows us to give back, and, you know, that feels pretty good.
Get out! Walk it off! Your parents signed the permission slip. Get up, man.
Back on the fluky Haraki golf. That was Prada's lead, 18 seconds around the third mark. But after that Barroway set and changing the chute, AmericaOne not only has stretched out, they had a 3-boat length lead a few seconds ago. It's up to 8.
And Prada, realizing they're on the wrong jibe and losing more and more distance, decide to jibe themselves. Now that's the tactic that worked well for them on the windward leg, tacking to leeward and ahead. But now they've jibed. AmericaOne at the bottom of the screen, stretching out. The reason, simply more wind. John Kostecki gets the gold star for making the right call on the downwind leg, heading on the left side of the course.
We're over target. I guess that's what we like, huh?
Slightly. Well, we said as we rounded that mark, a lot of times downwind, the boat behind has the definite advantage. We pointed out the fact that that boat on the screen right there gained on that first downwind run by 45 seconds. A huge puff again for Kayart, Kostecki and company, and about a 9-boat length lead right here. And if you're hearing some loud roars in the direction of San Francisco, I think those 250 folks watching the St. Francis Yacht Club tonight, some smiles after some long faces early on, huh?
They got to feel good about how their team's performing.
Hey, Josh, is there any way we could floss? We're kind of...
Floss is clearing the weed off the keel, like dental floss.
Well, we have to drive. We're not laying a second either.
Breeze actually picking up a little bit now.
Knot meter just freaked out. Let's keep watching for weed. Maybe we shouldn't freak out about this weed thing. Maybe we don't have weed. You know, maybe it's not as windy.
Taking a look at sail track, AmericaOne blue line on the right, almost on a direct course now for the leeward mark. Prada, the yellow line, hoping the wind will shift to the right so they'll be able to jive and get back in it. But about a 7-boat length lead to AmericaOne. I'll tell you, the big question I have now, Jim, AmericaOne gets around the leeward mark, and they're ahead. Prada, we've seen, seems to really go fast on the windward leg. How much do they catch up, and how does AmericaOne keep this speedy boat behind once they are ahead?
Well, and then the stretch drive to finish is another run downwind where AmericaOne has been better. So we are in for some finish here in day 2 of the Louis Vuitton finals. It's 5 out of 9. Prada won yesterday by 24 seconds. A great comeback by Kayart, Kostecki and the boat from San Francisco.
Daddy,
My sweetie,
can the monsters get me?
not a chance.
When you've got ADT, you've got the power of advanced home monitoring technology.
Good morning, this is Diane.
The power of experienced professionals helping to keep you safe.
Okay, calling the fire department right now.
From burglary, fire, flooding, carbon monoxide, even the occasional monster.
Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
And thank you for choosing ADT.
ADT helps protect more homes and families than any other security company in America. Call now and get the ADT burglary system installed from $99, plus up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. Sleep tight. Get the power of ADT.
I have 48 employees. I have an 8-member management committee. I also have 3 5-year-old sons. I don't need someone else raising questions. I need someone who can give me answers.
At Lincoln Financial Group, you tell us your goals, your situation, and your concerns. We'll provide clear, understandable solutions to help you manage your finances. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
Check out SportsCenter every night for a preview of the 2000 ESPYs. Log on to ESPN.com for the Performer of the Decade nominees. Compare your picks with ESPN's when the awards are televised February 14. Watch SportsCenter or log on to ESPN for a preview.
Back on board USA 61, Matt Welling there, upper right-hand side of your screen. Again, the Delta was prodded by 18 seconds, but on the second downwind run, nice advantage for Kostecki, who's called both of the downwind runs almost perfectly, don't you think?
Well, to do a bear-away set and take the left side of the course as you're heading downwind into the spectator fleet looked bold, but it was exactly right. They found more wind. John Kostecki, who struggled on the first windward leg, made up for it big time. And now AmericaOne stretches out to a 10-boat length lead. But we've seen it turn around before. We've still got more than 2 legs to go. So there's not time to count the score at all.
Going? The header. Yep, we're going.
Wind changing direction a little bit as they approach the leeward mark, still about 2/3 of a mile away. Paul Caird himself pulls the spinnaker sheet around. And Prada elects to go into a jibing duel. Now this is a little unusual because we haven't seen them do a lot of maneuvering before, but then again we haven't seen them behind in this series much before.
Yesterday, that boat with the red Ferrari trim, wire to wire, and they survived a 270-degree penalty turn.
I noticed both boats sailing with spinnakers that are much smaller than we had on the first leg. So this smaller sail and the light air makes these boats go faster.
Hey, Lexi, dial into this ley line a little bit for me.
John Kostecki asking navigator Lexi Gahagan to read the course to the mark.
Chill, guys. We're doing nice. All about skill here.
Last instant to decide which of those sails to use. There's Lexi Gahagan on the left trying to figure out when to jibe for the mark.
Thank you, buddy.
Lexi Gahagan started his America's Cup career back in 1980 aboard the Enterprise and Freedom campaign. 3 years later, Caird with Tom Blackwell.
Here we go.
I have a mother. I have a father. I even have a big brother. I don't need someone else looking out for me. I need someone who can help me look out for myself.
At Lincoln Financial Group, our goal is to make the financial world clear and understandable so you can make informed decisions. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
What creates professional-grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations, plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
I just hope it's healthy. I hope they're playing land safely.
I don't want to go to the hospital anymore.
I wish I could get my email out. I wish my network had more bandwidth.
I hope we get 1 million hits.
I wish they had a cure.
I wish I could have done more. I wish I had more time.
Agilent Technologies. Dreams made real.
If you have thinning hair, you can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now. I could control the way my body looks, but not my hair. I was very confused about what to do when I started losing my hair. I didn't know where to start. I was looking for some real answers, and I got them from Hair Club's latest hair loss research update. It gave me the facts that I needed to make the right decision about my thinning hair. Now that I have my hair back, I'm glad I made that call. You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
Gary Jobson, all our ESPN America's Cup 2000 sailing team, welcoming you back to the fluky waters of the Hauraki Gulf.
A lot of spectator fleets around the leeward mark as AmericaOne closes in. They sailed out beyond the ley line to have a fast angle coming into that mark. Lexi Hagan made the call and got him out there a little further than they needed to, but maybe a good call because they'll be approaching with plenty of speed. AmericaOne enjoys about a 10-boat length lead. Morgan Larson up the mast trying desperately to figure out what's the wind going to be doing on the next leg. We need to know. Prada, for its part, will have to make 2 extra jibes before getting to the leeward mark. Looks like the spectator fleet's a little further away from the leeward mark this time. A good call.
What's the axis? 10? Yeah, they changed it.
Curtis Blewett and Greg Prush up forward, getting ready to set the jib. Selection's been made.
Jib up. Jib in. You want to beat him to it? I think so. I think it's the safe thing to do. Trim the kite.
Kostecki recommends tacking soon after the leeward mark to get into the left shift because they'll be favored sailing closer course to the mark on poor tack after this turn.
Kite coming down in about 15. 15 seconds. Yes.
Well, everybody seems a little bit more amped, don't you think, Jim?
Certainly a lot more animated than they were when they were behind by $1.49. There were some long faces in that boat.
4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it. I think when we get tidied up, we want to tack. Got the spectator back. Stop, hold on. Sneak main. Go main. Sneaking main. Go main big. Okay, ready on jib? Yeah.
Another course change by the race committee.
Cutting heel on a jib. Go now. Go hard. Go hard, go hard. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Get the blue after guy out of the water, Curtis, on the starboard side.
Textbook turn. Now when the boat's up to full speed, you'll see AmericaOne take their tack over and try and get to the left before Prada has a chance to get to the mark.
Here, take this finger. You want to get Morgan down when you're ready. Yes. What I've done. When you're ready. Caccia speed. Caccia speed. Caccia. That might. Stop. Stop. Processo a menare. 4, 2, 1, vai! Go!
Very important leg for this series. If Prada can make up substantial time, it'll prove to everyone that they are in fact faster on the wind in this amount of breeze at 7 to 9 knots. If they can't make the time, AmericaOne's going to feel pretty good about their relative performance. We're going to learn a lot in the next 3 miles.
A lot of smiles in the product camp after yesterday's 24-second victory in day 1 of the Louis Vuitton finals for the right to go on and challenge the Kiwis. AmericaOne trying to even up the scoreboard.
Who got their real hair back at Bosley Medical? Mike? Carl? Or maybe Drew? Well, they all did. These are real people who were looking for real results.
I wanted something natural, real hair, and that's what I've got.
It's simple. They take hair from where you have it, and they put it where you need it.
I wash it, I get a cut. It's my own real hair growing on top of my head.
Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. For over 25 years, they have performed more than 130,000 procedures using the innovative micrografting techniques pioneered by founder Dr. L. Lee Bosley.
Each surgeon at Bosley Medical is board certified and individually trained by me.
So if you want to have your own naturally growing hair back, call this number for more information. We'll send you this free video and in-depth guidebook that gives you the real facts about hair restoration. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. So take control of your hair loss. Call now and get the real results you've been looking for.
It's your real hair. You can't do better than real.
This Sunday, ESPN Classic presents the most perilous racing picture ever put on film, The Big Wheel.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Will Mickey Rooney explode with road rage? And why is he dancing the merengue? Buckle up for the ride of your life. It's real classics. It's The Big Wheel. Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Back with the man at the wheel, Paul Kayard, Gary, a America's Cup veteran, a Whitbread winner, 5th America's Cup campaign, so there was no panic that set in.
I think we saw a lot about Paul Kayard and how strong he is as a leader. Prada bringing their man down. Sailing downwind on the right, AmericaOne headed off by themselves after doing a bearaway set, and Prada inexplicably kept heading to the right. Now you would think when you have a lead of 7 or 8 boat lengths, which Prada's enjoying, you would jibe and cover the competition to stay between them and the mark. But you can see the wind starts to shift, and on the right side of the course, AmericaOne gets a little bit of a lift, or the wind bending to the left as we look at the screen. And they, at that point, say, well, let's change sails. Ours not working, and let's come back together. The wind fills in from the right side of the course, and they start stretching out the lead. And Prada makes a good move jiving to minimize the damage. But the big mistake was by Prada. They were leading at the windward mark. They had the lead, and at a certain point, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the rounding, they should have jived the cover, and that's the mistake that Prada make, and that's why AmericaOne's ahead.
So in the debriefing, if things stay the way they are, when they sail in, how hard will the Italians be on themselves?
They'll be very hard on themselves because their philosophy's flawed. Twice, Torben Grail split from the boat ahead on the windward leg. AmericaOne closed up all the distance down to 2 boat lengths, and on the leeward leg they split again, and that's the mistake they make. In match racing, simply stay between your opponent and the other mark. And Torben Grail, new to match racing, but a great sailor with 3 medals in Olympics in the star class, is trying to sail his own race. And you can see that Francesco DeAngelis, his tight lips tell it all. He's not too happy with their position right now. The question I have is how fast is this boat Prada upwind? So far we've seen them going very fast, but can they make up distance when they're behind?
Al momento siamo più alti anche più alti.
17th man on board there is a friend of the syndicate head, Mr. Bertelli, 73 years of age, who's been on board a bunch, Renzo Guidi.
Stiamo chiudendo al tetto adesso.
Mr. Guidi doesn't look too happy at the present time.
Of course, Auckland was New Zealand's capital until the late 1800s. The new capital is Wellington, a port at the bottom of the South Island. We check in with Susie Aiken, presented by ADT.
Wellington, our capital city, the seat of power. A city of contrast, the grey suits of bureaucracy versus bohemian art and culture. Locals love the fact that their city's the cultural centre of New Zealand. Auckland may be bigger, but Wellington's where the power is.
It's true that Auckland's the biggest population base, but many countries have the split between the administrative and governmental capital and the commercial capital, and that's what we've got between Wellington and Auckland.
The beehive. The politicians may do battle on the floor of Parliament,
30 holding utes for the army,
but in Wellington they keep in close contact with their voting public.
What I like about Wellington is that I can get out of the beehive, I can go for a walk along Lambton Quay, and by the time I've come back, I've heard a dozen great stories. This is a very well-informed town, because the people you're walking down the street for, they are the people who are governing the country.
Feisty opinions and proud of what they've got. Wellingtonians embrace their surroundings. Ferries depart regularly for the South Island across Cook Strait, a stretch of water that impacts directly on something the locals can't control: the weather. Wild and windy Wellington, they call it. But you'll never hear a Wellingtonian talk about that. They say on a good day, you can't beat it.
I spent 40 years building a nest egg, 30 years paying off a mortgage, 20 years saving for college. I'm done worrying. Now I want to live.
At Lincoln Financial Group, we provide clear, understandable solutions to help you grow, manage, and protect the work of a lifetime. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will feel better about my dad living by himself.
I will know my children are safe.
I will go on vacation and finally be able to relax.
ADT's advanced technology and skilled professionals help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
I will live my life.
My life.
My life.
On my terms!
Call now and get the ADT burglary system from $99 installed, plus up to 20% off homeowner's insurance. Get the power of ADT.
Winter X Games, February 4th through 8th on ESPN and ESPN2.
A reminder coming up next right here on ESPN2, the Australian Tennis Open semifinals. Lindsay Davenport, what a cross-court she's got. And again, the resurgent Jennifer Capriati. They've got a great duel coming up. And then live, #1 in the world, Andre Agassi against Pete Sampras, who's looking for a record-breaking 13th Grand Slam title. That would tie him with Aussie Roy Emerson. So lots of tennis.
We have the T19 on board, or T29?
What a turnaround. After being behind by a minute 49, that was the delta in favor of San Francisco's USA 61.
Prada trying to make a tacking duel out of it as they continue heading up toward the windward mark about a mile away. There's the difference. AmericaOne on the left as we go upwind. They've been working the right side of the course. Prada the yellow, going through a series of tacks. Paul Kayard, the blue line, doing a nice job working Prada out to the lay line, so eventually they sail in their bad wind or make 2 extra tacks. The difference now, 14 boat lengths, about the same as the lead at the leeward mark, and there they are.
Is there a lot of spectator movement or no? Nothing on the left at all.
Paul Kayard broke into the America's Cup game at about the same time Rod Davis did. Rod, you know, from Fremantle with the Eagle campaign. Rod Davis is a veteran of 7 America's Cups with 4 different countries, including his native U.S. and his adopted home country of New Zealand. Rod Davis and his wife Liz live about 10 miles from downtown Auckland, and he is the coach of the Italian team. But this time it's his first America's Cup as a coach, and teaching the Italians to match race, that was tough.
Certainly the match racing aspect of the whole program was our weakest link, and you know, it's still one of our things we're still working on right today. When I started 2.5 years ago, Francesco and Torben had never done a match race in their lives, and we've come a long way in 2 years. You know, we still are as good as Russell Coutts and Butterworth and those guys. We're pretty good. We don't make too many mistakes, but we'll just have to wait and see if we've come all the way.
Jim, there's Rod Davis right there. He's the coach, hands in the pocket, not looking particularly happy. Great match racer himself, won the Congressional Cup 4 times, owns a silver medal and a gold medal, and he's been helping this man, Francesco D'Angelis, go from nowhere in match racing to being here in a Louis Vuitton Cup final. But a frustrating day for him, and the reason Prada is behind is they didn't cover on 2 legs. Windward leg, second time up, they opened the door. AmericaOne 2 boat lengths behind, then downwind split, and Kayard took advantage of a big shift in the wind and strength and took the lead.
San Francisco's USA 61 on the verge of scoring up the series. Best of 9, 1 race all.
Man has always dreamed of getting to the other side. Some make it, some don't. But at least your phone calls get there. Because Agilent provides technologies for almost every kind of communications network. From way down here to way up here.
What creates professional-grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
I have a boss. I have a mother-in-law. I also have a teenage daughter. I don't need someone else telling me what to do. I need someone who will listen.
You tell us your goals, your situation, and your concerns. We'll provide clear, understandable solutions to help you manage your finances. Lincoln Financial Group. Clear solutions in a complex world.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Devils Red Wings, Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN2.
Back on the race course, Prada falling behind by 1:27 around the 4th mark after leading by 1 minute and 40